Yeah! Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is the fourth movie in the DC Extended Universe, and there has been a lot riding on this. DC movies, for the most part, their track record has not been great. Man of Steel got mixed reviews, I thought it was alright. BVS, I loved it first, and then I didn't. And I'm probably one of the two people on the face of the planet who actually liked Suicide Squad. So Wonder Woman takes place way back in World War I, about 100 years ago. It's the story of Princess Diana of Themyscira. She's raised a certain way to be a warrior, then one day this pilot crash lands on her island. Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, says, hey, guess what? There's a great war going on out there. So Diana decides to go with him to London and help out. And now we have Wonder Woman. And in case you haven't heard the plethora of good reviews that are already out there, yeah, this movie was actually pretty freaking sweet. First off, Themyscira, I gotta say, was pretty cool. We don't really get to spend a lot of time there, so I appreciated the time we did get to spend there. Because I love seeing this lore. This is the whole backstory of where Wonder Woman comes from, her culture. All these Greek figures like Zeus and Ares, I love all that shit. You're like, okay, this is the world that Wonder Woman comes from. It's really great world building for the DC Extended Universe. Now let's talk about Gal Gadot as Diana Prince. In a word, she was awesome. Not just in the action, which I will get to in a minute, but just as the character. When she brought the emotion, I felt it. This movie is probably the best I've seen her act in. Chris Pine and Steve Trevor, I thought was hilarious. His comedic moments in the film were the funniest in the entire movie. And the chemistry that he has with Diana is real. I loved it. Their dialogue, their banter back and forth, I just felt was really natural. But yeah, the thing is, when she's palling around with Steve Trevor in London, I couldn't help but notice certain similarities to Thor, you know, with the whole fish out of water element, or, you know, Captain America the First Avenger, because of the whole World War element. That's just where my mind goes. I can't help but think, oh yeah, that's just like those other movies that I've seen before. But this is different enough where I'm like, no, it's not that. It's freaking Wonder Woman. I mean, they're in the trenches, and then Diana's like, you know what? Yeah, screw this. I'm just gonna go ahead and fight. And when she throws down, dude, when Wonder Woman is kicking ass, it is like the most badass thing ever. Especially with that lasso, dude. I don't know what it is about that lasso I love so much, but whenever she was just like taking someone and throwing them around, I was like, oh my god. It's probably because we've never really seen something like that before, or at least not in a superhero film. This is the first Wonder Woman film we've ever had. You know, we've seen Batman a million times, Iron Man, Superman, take whoever. We've seen them a lot, but Wonder Woman, we haven't. It felt refreshing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, there is a lot of slow-mo in these action scenes, but they didn't bother me as much as I thought they would. It did stick out a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, that one particular moment did not have to be in slow motion. But sometimes when it went slow-mo, I couldn't help but be like, ah! Because sometimes these Themysciran warriors can just do things that we normal humans can't do. And sometimes the slow-mo really helped emphasize that in really cool stylistic ways. I dug it. Honestly, all the Wonder Woman action scenes in this film just blew me away. Probably some of the most entertaining action scenes I've seen all year so far. And yes, there is a big throwdown at the end with a lot of CG, but the reason it worked this time is because there was actually emotion behind it. You feel like she was actually fighting for something, like good morals and all that good shit. Like all the emotion that has been building throughout this film, when it got to the end fight, I felt like it was a good payoff. I'll touch on it more in my spoiler video I do for this, because I am gonna want to talk about the spoilers in here. Trust me though, it was awesome. And the score, dude, the score. Not only did Rupert Gregson-Williams bring back the theme that Hans Zimmer introduced in BVS, which I still think is badass by the way, and we hear it quite a few times in this film, and I loved it every time. You're like, yeah, that is the Wonder Woman theme. It's official. Aside from, you know, but I feel like Themyscira got its own theme, and, you know, it felt really like Lord of the Rings-ish. Not like as big and epic as Lord of the Rings, but, you know, it felt medieval. It felt like fantasy. Guys, I'm gonna cut right to the chase. Wonder Woman was completely satisfying. The characters had excellent chemistry. They worked really well together. The dialogue was great. The story was really good. The action was badass. When Wonder Woman throws down, she throws down. I loved it from beginning to end. I know you really can't trust me when it comes to my ratings for DC films, because like I said, I had a knack of falling into the mood when I go to DC movies. But after giving this a lot of thought, I really do gotta say, go see this movie right now. If nothing else, go see it just to see that DC is actually doing a pretty good job now. This movie gives me faith that Justice League is actually gonna be good. Please don't suck, Justice League, please. I love that this film is really building up the DC Extended Universe. Like, Wonder Woman is from Themyscira, Superman is from Krypton, Batman has Gotham City, you know, like all these different elements, all these different worlds in the same world, but that's what DC is. I'm looking forward to seeing how, you know, Aquaman comes from Atlantis and the Flash has like Central City. And yeah, there's no post-credit scene in this movie. So just letting you know, don't waste your time waiting for credits. Unless you just like watching credits, which I do sometimes. Alright, so Wonder Woman, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And what is your favorite movie in the DC Extended Universe so far? Whatever it is, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.